It's been a long time since we've had the Volkswagen ID.3 on the channel, and please don't go back and look at that initial video. It was back when I was starting off my YouTube channel and it was a bit unpolished, let's to say the least. But we're back and we're here with the Volkswagen, the all-new Volkswagen ID.3. This car was supposed to be maybe next year, but they brought it a year forward because there's a lot of competition in this space now and Volkswagen didn't want to lose any of that market share. So there's a bit of a refresh, there's a bit of a tweak here and a pinch there, but overall it's pretty similar to the original ID.3. This one is actually a small bit longer, and when I mean a small bit, I mean 2 millimeters. But stylistically on the outside there are some changes, quality and stylistically on the inside there are some changes. Battery is the same, etc, etc. So let's get straight into it. The biggest one probably is the bumper area down here. We have some slats for some air curtains, and we have the change to the bumper. On the original one there was a black strip, so visually on the road you're able to see the difference between the two of it. This is a dark olivine green. Beautiful colour, but it's also a colour another brand has as well, olivine green in Peugeot. So if you know who had it first, drop into the comments and let me know. They've shrunken down the options with regards to the model variations, etc. So there is a Pro and a Pro S. Pro is 58 kilowatt hour battery, Pro S is a 77 kilowatt hour battery, and today we have the Pro S. A couple of different package options as well. You have your LED lights, but these ones are the LED matrix, so it's the step up, and it has that coast to coast sidebar. We don't get the illuminated Volkswagen badge here in Ireland. You also have a 360 camera package on this one with your parking sensors, your your matte grey, but overall it's a refinement of nearly an electric icon now at this stage. Dare I say the electric Golf, as much as the e-Golf was there, but this is the new kid on the block. I really like the removal of that black plastic, and that styling update has done. Some people miss the honeycomb down at the bottom. I'm not one of them. Then we have choices of wheels. We've got 18s, 19s and 20s, and these are the 20s, the Sanyas. The 18s are called East Derry. Large VW door mirror, which I really like, with the indicator built in, retractable. You have that roofline in silver just to give it a small bit of a sportier look, because the actual roof itself is gloss black. Can come with a pano sunroof. We don't have it on this model. This is a quarter panel light, which is a quarter panel window, which is really handy. Your gloss black, and we saw this on the recent Q8 e-tron that we were driving, and it has Volkswagen, not the brand, not the model, just the word Volkswagen. On the original ID.3s you had a little flag here signifying what the trim level was. We don't have that now either, and the side profile is pretty similar. Nice door handles, keyless entry on this model, and then you've got your matte black plastic cladding in underneath. Nice swooping roofline on the back of this Volkswagen ID.3. Charging is on AC, it's 11 kilowatt, and on DC it's up to 170 kilowatt. This is on the Pro S version, so depending on the Pro or the Pro S, that will dictate the DC charging speed. So decent, very decent for this size car, very decent charging speeds. That is the front and the side of the Volkswagen, all-new Volkswagen ID.3. Let's have a look around the back. Around at the back, very little has changed on the Volkswagen ID.3. You've got your shark fin aerial and glass black, that large spoiler with that high-level brake lamp. Great to see the wiper, and a good-sized wiper as well. Differences between the old model and the newer model is, on the older model this was a reflective strip, whereas now it's actually, I won't see it in the daylight, but it is a light, so it is illuminated. You've got the X on this Pro S version. It shows up as an X on the actual, comes in 7 different colors, a black, a white, a grey, a silver, a red, a blue, and this dark olivine green. The boot is the exact same, 385 litres with the seats up. It's a 40-60 split with a hatch on it, and around 1200 and odd litres with the boot seats down, and it has a subfloor for your charging cables. Doesn't have a frunk in the Volkswagen ID.3, but otherwise it's nothing much has changed at the back here. Let's have a look on the inside. Inside the new Volkswagen ID.3, similar steering wheel. It is a 3-spoke. It has haptic glass black buttons on the steering wheel, which some people aren't a fan of. Behind that then you've got your indicators and lights on the left, and on the right you've got the wipers. Big improvement in quality and feel. You know, now you have your Alcantara. You have still got the gloss black on the door, so there are certain things that still are the same. So the door controls with that rear button is the same, the steering wheel, and then the infotainment still isn't illuminated and is still touch. So it's a no-no for some people, but they've sold a lot of them. This one has the driver binnacle on the steering wheel like we chatted about before, and it's attached to it, so no matter where you move the steering wheel, it's still there. And then on the side of that, you've got your drive selector, so drive, reverse, neutral, and then 2 swipes forward for 2-stage regeneration B mode. They don't have single pedal driving in the Volkswagen ID.3. Push in for handbrake. It's a pause for the brake and a play button pedal for the accelerator. This one has the augmented reality head-up display, which we didn't get in the original one. We only got that originally in the ID.4, so it's nice to have it on this. It's so nice driving a smaller hatch rather than all these large SUVs at the moment, but we'll talk about that out in the drive. Above my left knee is the lighting panel. It's automatic usually, but there are the front and rear poor weather lights. Slight difference in you've got now the ID.3 logo identifier in the between the 2 vents, but the fabric on the vents, the materials that are used, you can see some nice stitching. Comes in a couple of different colors, a black and a black and grey. Noel would like a bit more colors than that, but Noel, I'll let you jump into the comments. And then there's a couple of different seat options. There's the dark. This one is the half vegan leather, which is actually the same on the steering wheel, and that Alcantara in the middle, but you can get sport bucket seats as well. On the Pro S version, it is only 2 seats in the back, not 3, so it's only a 4-seater. So if you have more than 2 kids, ID.3 Pro with the larger battery Pro S, it may not be for you. Center console, you've got a little net at the front, you've got your double cup holders, you've got some storage, you've got your Qi wireless charging for your phone slot, you've got 2 USB type C's, and then you've got a large cubby hole with a divider that's movable. So yeah, it's good. It's starting to become the norm with regards to the Volkswagen ID range. These are the armrests on this version. Really nice to have an armrest no matter what size the car is. And then the glove box is kind of a half glove box because we've got the fuse box on the right hand side. It is dark-ish in here, but definitely those grey accents help it. I love the pano sunroof, but I appreciate that's going to slightly affect range as well, and we'll talk about range once we get out on the road. But the seats are electronically adjusted. Yeah, it's a step up from the original, but the infotainment, the haptic buttons may still hold some people back. It's a lovely car, don't get me wrong. Prices for the Pro in Ireland are starting at around, before options, around 40,000 euros after grants on the road price, and then for this one is probably around 50,000 euros. And so there's a lot of other EVs in the marketplace, like your Teslas and your MGs, etc. Let me know in the comments which one you would go for. But they'll sell a few of these, and at the moment it's 0% interest. So hard to argue with those finance options. If you want to take it for a test drive, head over to nevo.ie and you can actually book your test drive with your local Volkswagen dealer, and you can see the colours, etc, etc. This seat is set for me. Let's have a seat in the back of the Volkswagen ID.3. All new. In the back of the Volkswagen ID.3, and it has tinted rear window and side window, so it is a small bit dark on camera. And this seat has moved back electronically for let me out, but you've got your 2 smart device pockets, you've got another magazine holder, you've got 2 USB type C's, flat floor, which is great, but don't need the central section because this is only a 4-seater. I've heard of it, I had never seen it before, so there's just a little divot in the middle. Could you fit a third person in it? Not really, and there isn't a seatbelt for them anyway, so you wouldn't be moving far. We've got 3 ISOFIX positions. We've got 2 in the back and 1 in the front, so great for small families. And on this, you have a nice large armrest, 2 headrests, and you've got that ski hatch as well if you want to get into the boot. Very practical. I can fit my legs under the feet. I am touching there, but as I said, that seat will move slightly forward. Thigh support's not bad for sure. And then headroom, about 3 centimeters for me, 6'2", 188. Yeah, that gloss black is probably still too prevalent for me on the door handles where you're actually touching it. Nice large door bin as well. Courtesy lights up on top in the middle, coat hooks and grab handles on all doors. Let's take it out for a drive. Before we get talking about the driving of the all-new ID.3, some things I didn't mention when I was doing my interior review. It has 10 ambient colours as standard, and you can, depending on the packages, then that upgrades then to, I think it's 32, and there's a wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Very good, actually, very seamless. You just sit in and it picks it up automatically. Driving it is very, as I said, it's great to be back in a small electric vehicle. We need more of these. People don't need the big SUVs, and they actually could get away with a hatch like this. This is probably the size that I'd go for personally, just because I don't have children. It's only myself and herself and the dog, and so a hatch would be ideal. While we're waiting on this traffic here, this car that we're currently driving, this press car, it's coming in at just over 56,000 euros. It has the dark olive green metallic paint. It has the 20-inch alloy wheels. It also has the exterior package and the Assistant Plus package, and that is the Park Assist. And if you're interested in that, I've got a video on my channel. I'll stick it up on the screen where it memorizes the parking sequence, and it will park for you, whether it's at home or work or whatever that may be. So at 55,500 euros for an electric hatchback, it's getting pricey when you can buy a Tesla Model Y for cheaper, unfortunately. So you really want to love the brand. You'd really only want a hatchback. And then if you want a hatchback, you're looking at the likes of the MG4, Renault Scenic, its sibling, the Cupra Born, which stylistically had the upper hand, but I think now it's going to be tougher to beat. It's definitely catching up with it. But the drive, it's a rear wheel motor. It's a 150 kilowatt motor, giving you 208 PS and 310 Newton meters of torque. As always, nothing has changed there. With the software update, this is now running the Volkswagen software 3.5, and it is a couple of tweaks and changes since 3.0. You've got the addition of the percentage on the battery, on the actuals. I don't want you. This is running the 3.5 software. So with that, there's been iterations along the way. We now have the percentage on the battery bar. With the Volkswagen ID.3, you have the ability to tow, but you can put a bike carrier on the back, and that has a weight capacity of 75 kg. You have to spec it to prepare it if you want it from factory, but I'm sure there's an aftermarket way of doing it as well. There is no heat pump on the Volkswagen ID.3 as standard. Again, you have to spec it. So there isn't a huge amount of options. There are the packages, the exterior plus, the driver assistant plus, and then the interior plus or something like that. And depending on what you want will dictate what package you can go for. Then there's the choice of alloy wheels. Then there's the choice of colours, etc., etc. So the menu option has definitely gotten slimmer for Volkswagen. Range of the Volkswagen ID.3, the all-new one, hasn't really changed. A small bit more aero, but very slightly, with those air slots at the front and the removal of that black plastic bumper. WLTP for this car, the Pro S, is saying 557 kilometers, and at 97% battery, today I'm at 504 range. So you're probably talking late 400s, early 500s, depending on how you drive it and where you drive it. On the Pro, the 58 kilowatt hour battery, the entry level one now is saying 425. Real world, you're probably talking mid to late 300s. It's a nicer form factor. It's not as heavy as the likes of obviously the ID.4, ID.5s, etc. So it is able to be a bit more efficient with regards to how it moves itself along. Efficiency is also now shown up on the driver display. So currently I'm at 17.2 since I charged it last when I got the car on Monday from Volkswagen. Performance of the ID.3, it is 0 to 100 on the Pro, which is a slightly 10 kg lighter, and the battery, so that means it's a 7.4, 0 to 100. So it can move, even though it is rear wheel drive. It's definitely the feel on the road. The traction is great, the torque is good. Yeah, they've done it right. It's not too crazy. The handling is lovely, and that steering wheel is very tactile and responsive. Brakes are definitely an improvement on the original one. They're a bit more measured. Whereas I think the original ID.3, I think there was a wasn't as smooth between regenerative braking and actual friction braking, whereas this one is nice and smooth at the moment. Visibility, yeah, good. You've got blind spot on this. It has the flashy lights on the side with the dark tinted glass that we talked about before. You've got that nice A-pillar quarter panel window, which is lovely. The rear visibility is good, and it will be good because you won't have that middle passenger. So you haven't got that central headrest, and the fact that there's a wiper back there as well. One thing I do like a lot is my captain's armrest, and it's, yeah, nice. It's a nice car. It's a touch on the expensive side for what it is, size-wise, and what you're getting. But yeah, the Volkswagen network is there if you want that brand. If you've always been a Volkswagen buyer, they're not going to steer you wrong with this. Let me know in the comments if it is something that is on your list. Were you waiting for the updated one? Have you gone somewhere else with a different manufacturer? Might do a coast to coast in this again. Let me know if you'd like me to do that. But otherwise, hopefully you've enjoyed the review of the Volkswagen ID.3, the all new one. Stylistically, it's aesthetic. The gubbins are still the same down underneath. The software definitely has updated and it's a bit more responsive. Yeah, that takeoff is lovely. Like the video and share it. And remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.